You have two cars on the road. One car is traveling at a constant speed along the straight road, so that would be car X. This is pretty important. Constant. The other one, car Y, is behind and traveling at the same speed V, which is lesser, but car Y is starting to accelerate. So you're gonna have some acceleration happening here, and it's gonna get faster and faster. So car Y will overtake car X at some time t. So this is when they both are at the same side by side, and D0 is 0. D0 is 0. No distance between them. Okay, so it's kind of like, how do I do this? One is ahead, but eventually they do this, and then they overtake each other. But what is the question? They ask you which graph is the variation of time with distance between the cars. Now be very careful, this distance is between. That is D0 right there. So you can imagine, eventually they'll get closer and closer. So all the graphs should be decreasing, right? So okay, that looks pretty good. But which shape is it? Why are there so many shapes? That is perhaps the hardest part to decide. So rewind a little bit. If I say, let's draw a graph of maybe how the velocity of the cars would look like. Vt. For car X, let's give this purple car. So car X is just a constant speed. It's just going to go like that. Same all the way. But car Y, though, will be speeding up. Let's call this the orange car. And it starts off at a lower speed, so maybe somewhere here, but it gets faster and faster. Constant acceleration. At some point, I don't know where it will overtake the other cars. Maybe somewhere here. This is T. Okay, that's for you to see how their velocities are changing. But we're looking at distance. How we decide distance? Is it going to be linear? Can you remember or think of an equation that has distance and time in it? A Stuva or kinematics or Suvat equation. One of it is like this. S equals to ut plus half at squared. And that tells you the relationship between displacement and time. Look, there's a square. So it cannot be a straight line. So, no, not this one. And this t square is what we call a quadratic shape. Quadratic means either you have a smiley face like that or a sad face like that. Okay, so looking at these graphs, C is maybe correct, B is maybe correct, but A is just no. Why? This part is wrong. That's not a quadratic shape. That's some who knows what weird shape that is. We have constant acceleration, so it should be just a simple quadratic. Now, how do you decide between B and C? They're both kind of quadratic, but why does B go up first, increase, then only decrease? Where this one just decrease all the way. Now you think about this part. This is very important when you look at this velocity graph. When the cars first start moving, are they already getting closer to each other? You think about this. Imagine this car is traveling at 10 meters per second. This is traveling at 100 meters per second. Are they getting closer together or further apart? They're getting further apart. So while the orange car is slower than the purple car, they will not get closer together yet. So if you look at the graph, orange car starts off a bit slower. So actually for this whole part of the journey, they are getting further apart. Oops, kind of hanging a bit. So further. And then once they have the same velocity, then only will the other car start to catch up. So this is when they start to get closer together. Otherwise, how is the car behind going to chase? It's too slow. It cannot chase the front car. It's just like, bye, gone in the distance. So just remember there's two parts. They will at first get further apart, then they only will start to catch up. And that's because the orange car behind is accelerating. So this is where the tricky part comes in. Okay, so this part is correct. This one is wrong. You should get further first, then only you start to catch up. So that's kind of similar to A lah. So I guess this part is correct, but the ending part is wrong. The trend, the quadratic shape. Okay, so that is it for this question. You have any doubts, comments? Just throw them down below. Ask your friend, ask a teacher, ask someone. But make sure you know how to think of this whole scenario of two cars overtaking each other. It is almost always true for scenarios like this. All right, so that's all for this question. I will see you in the next one.